The world around us has a range of problems, and our role ultimately as a company is to quickly define the problem and to quickly solve it.
Hello and welcome to our One of Stories podcast. With the upcoming Singapore Week of Innovation and Technology, also known as Switch, we are featuring our ASA spin-offs who were past SLINGSHOT winners. I'm your host Kaylin, and with me I have Anthony, and today we'll be featuring Lucence, an ASA spin-off which has emerged as one of the top 5 startups of SLINGSHOT at Switch 2017. Out of 900 contestants, Lucence was awarded for the best idea, walking away with $100,000 for their technology in delivering better cancer screening, diagnosis, and monitoring through relentless innovation in liquid biopsy technology. Please welcome our guest, the CEO and Medical Director of Lucence, Dr. Tan Min Han.
Min Han.
Hi. Yes.
So Dr. Tan, I know it's been quite some time since your participation in SLINGSHOT at Switch, but maybe could you share with us and the audience, how was your experience like at SLINGSHOT?
So I think we had a great experience in 2017, and that was really 8 years ago, presenting the idea of cancer screening using liquid biopsy, and this was an idea that was novel then, and fast forwarding 8 years later, it is an idea that's really taking hold of the world, is growing very quickly. I guess there is that sense of gratitude to all the folks that recognized and supported that growth over the years. It's been a really great experience. I won't say it's been an experience that's been completely positive. We have had our ups and downs through the years as we went through a lot of challenges, and that would include COVID-19. It would have included the inevitable scaling problems of entering new markets. But I guess, these 8 years have been great, and SLINGSHOT was really a huge milestone at the start of our journey.
I cannot recall top of my head. How much have you guys raised since 2017 to now?
Yeah, we have raised over $70 million US. We have been extremely grateful to investors for supporting the vision of a global approach towards earlier cancer detection, because we know cancer is a huge problem. It's the top killer, not just in Singapore, but the rest of the world. 10 million deaths a year. That's, 1 every 2 seconds. And I think putting in the effort to make a dent in that, that's something which I'm very glad to have been able to spend the last few years of my life doing.
Right. All right. Thank you so much for sharing. Speaking of global markets, we have saw recently on a 2024 article by Forbes that your flagship product has been given a thumbs up for Medicare coverage. Could you maybe share with us a little bit more about what was the process? What were some of the obstacles you faced in entering and achieving this?
Absolutely. And indeed, Kaylin, you are absolutely on the spot in asking about these challenges, because Lucence is the first and only company from Asia to ever receive US Medicare coverage. It is a recognition, obviously, of the technology and the evidence that earlier cancer detection is possible through liquid biopsy. Practically speaking, I think the steps that were needed to win the reimbursement included first, a lab deployment. You do need a lab in Silicon Valley, and that lab, we staff it obviously with both lab technologists. We do have also some Singaporeans there helping to support the service, but that lab fundamentally supplies the American cancer patients. Beyond that first setup, there is the need also to generate the right evidence to show, most importantly, clinical utility, which is the usefulness of this for detecting and profiling cancer earlier, because it's all about making sure that the US government supports and covers a test of proven cancer utility. So we are very glad that the recognition has taken place, and that whole process took obviously about 2 years. But it's been 2 years that from the end of our study, and I want to say that there was the lab, we had to run a study, and that whole end-to-end process took us about 4 years to win reimbursement.
Right. Do you have any questions?
I'm just thinking what you said. You're in the US market. Cancer is a global problem. So how do we path your way so that any startups out there, especially deep tech, from local to US, and have a product that can serve a global population? You said 10 million cancer patients.
10 million deaths a year, that's right, and 20 million new cases. And
We have to go out there
you know,
beyond.
absolutely. And we look in a world that 1 in 3 of us in our lifetime,
Ouch.
will develop cancer. It's a sobering figure. It's also real, and it gets more and more real over the years as we age and we look at our family members. And it's not just a question of numbers. We are looking at people getting this at a younger and younger age. And we see people, being diagnosed with colon cancer in their 30s. We see Princess Kate being diagnosed at 40 with cancer. And we ask ourselves, this is not just genetics, right? It's really changes in lifestyle, changes in the environment. Is it because of the nanoparticles in the air, the plastic particles in the food? We really don't know, but we know that it has to be an environmental trigger for this to happen.
Definitely.
Now, prevention is critical, but early cancer detection is going to play a role in detecting that cancer so that we can act earlier. And having a technology that can go global and help people in all the various countries, that's critical. Solving that need on a global scale does require us to consider the needs in each country. And for sure, we do see firstly differences in cancers in different countries, but more fundamentally is the differences in health systems. We operate, of course, in the United States and Asia, where in the United States, it's a very insurance-driven system. In Asia, while we do see the growing role of insurance at the heart, it is still very much an out-of-pocket environment where tests and solutions are more at the premium levels. So I will say that there's a wide range of needs out there. Making tests and treatments more accessible is really a key need in making a company global.
How about your team construct? I mean, you mentioned that you have set up in US. In Asia, you are set up in Singapore, and
we have a front-end sales office in Hong Kong. So I do divide my time very much in traveling between the Silicon Valley, Singapore, as well as Hong Kong. I got back last week from Hong
how
Kong
about
and the week before.
the main team management and the board? Is it a global team construct that you have put together?
I think we are very much operationally a global team. We have an American lab, which is definitely servicing the American market. We have a lab right here in Singapore supplying patients all over Asia.
Over Asia.
Beginning, oh yes, absolutely. And what we see, and definitely, I will say that, I'm Singaporean. I grew up in Singapore. I served my national service. As someone who has started the Lucence, I really hope that we are able to bring the strengths of the Singapore work culture and to enable the ability of this company to solve global needs, right? Because there is the detail orientation, the carefulness of the work culture that we see here, and that's extremely suited to healthcare in many ways.
Ethics is important to know
Absolutely.
any company. The culture.
Absolutely. And there is a trust. The key thing is we know everywhere in the world there is the trust element, right? We see the Singapore brand, you feel that you trust that things will work in a certain way, things will be systematic, that we will do our very best. And I do think that that's a critical set of attributes that when people look at Lucence, they understand that, the services that we provide are going to be of that very similar, trusted quality no matter where we are.
Something is going through my mind as you say that Singapore serves the regional market. So on a separate note, medical tourism for the more acute cases
Yes.
seems to be one of the hub in Singapore as well. Medical tourism.
Yes.
Is Lucence serving the regional market from medical tourism coming to Singapore, or you guys are more outbound to the region to service these people?
Yes. So I do see the region as critical to the business model of our company. And the model I would suggest that we can all think about is hub and spoke, right? Because Singapore acts as a hub that helps to supply the needs of people in the various countries. And today, as we provide early cancer detection, our lab provides a lot of the analysis, supports doctors in all these cities, whether it be Bangkok, Manila, Taiwan. And as an example of this today, we publish with the leading academics of all the various hospitals, supplying the precision medicine data that is really unique to this very diverse region, right? Because
Yep.
we understand while cancer is global, what we typically see in the various countries is a very local profile with local needs. Healthcare is still a very personal thing, and making sure that we are there to support the doctors everywhere they are, whether they be in Manila, Bangkok, Taiwan, that's something that we do. This very lab here also supplies places as remote as Canada and Australia.
Wow. Canada is like 17 hours already.
Absolutely. But in this day and age, realizing the word hub and spoke is critical because we recognize the divide between goods and services. Manufacturing is always going to be a critical part of the Singapore economy. In fact, advanced manufacturing is still a leading area in our economy, but realizing and conceptualizing how the Singapore can export its services is absolutely key. And it is so important because it's all about jobs, employment, making sure that the Singapore education system translates into a high value that we can deliver, not just domestically, but regionally and ultimately globally. So I see this vision of hub and spoke empowering services everywhere, not only, of course, in healthcare, but in many different fields of industry. So as we work through this model of how a excellent hub can be built out of Singapore, I feel, I'm really excited about the next 20 years as we deliver such high quality, trusted services out of this region. And A-Start Central, right? It's like the a hub of all these wonderful ideas that can go global.
I mean, just like what you were said before, when we first started in 2016, we see different type of deep tech startups. Now we see different threshold of them.
Yes.
Those questions I asked you earlier is also a reflection of what I'm observing. I see more and more of our own startups is that is Singapore market big enough? Our Singapore market is not just the domestic market, it's also the overseas market coming into Singapore. And when they want to prepare themselves for a global campaign, from the team construct, what are the partners, in your case is the academics, joint paper publication, and what is the flow through? I think the world dynamics has changed a lot. We talk about comparative advantage or competitive advantage. Both is coming into play in a different world altogether. Cancer is unique. Yes, it's a global problem, and some of these needs are very localized. What you have to pick is also what we are seeing as well. You need a global strategy, but the tactical could be very local.
Yes.
To punch in. I mean, coming back to Lucence, wow, a lot have happened. We all saw the ups and downs as well. I mean, the whole ecosystem went through up and down, especially the pandemic. But I think most of the guys that we spoke to, deep tech founders like yourself, why they start on this? Why do you want to start on this journey?
So I started Lucence in 2017, but before that, by training, I'm a cancer doctor and I did run a lab at A-Star. So as a physician and as a scientist, you typically see the problems that the world has, and solving problems of the world is what a company is all about, right? Education teaches analysis, entrepreneurship teaches you how to create solutions. And there's nothing wrong. We need both elements to so that we can use that word, create value for people around us. So I guess I had the good fortune of working in the front line of healthcare, feeling the pain and the difficulty of providing healthcare to cancer patients. And you do recognize that a lot of services are imperfect. And it's all about thinking about that the world should be a better place with a solution you can create and deliver. And that's the painful process that starts the journey. Once you think, hey, the world could be a better place, whether it's by a better cancer test or whether it should be by, decentralized transport system, empowered by the mobile phone. Everyone has needs.
It goes back to the original definition of deep tech when I first came across it in 2016 when I joined A-Star. Deep tech, they're asking for deep impact, economic impact, of course, but for the people and the planet. And most of the deep tech founders I came across and then they've been interviewed, they all started with the same kind of belief. Can the world be a better place? How can I contribute towards that? And that is always a consistent.
Yes, and there's nothing wrong with solving a problem, whether it be a better pizza that you can fulfill the needs of people. And I think that's great because you truly make the world a better place if you are able to make people solve a problem like that or to supply better F&B. Now, what the difference here in a deep technology is that you are conceptualizing a solution that did not exist before,
It's a lot harder.
right? So
Yeah.
in thinking through that, creating a completely novel solution, that one that you must be able to protect, clearly convincing the world, communicating that to people around, I actually think that becomes much harder than actually creating the solution. So, and you're familiar with many technology companies. You can create a lot of the, whether it's the engineering work in-house or the lab work and everything. And once it hits the bench, it becomes a product. The hard part begins to communicate that to the world. And because it's a new solution, you will need to go up against the challenge of, a real world adoption, which is remarkably difficult.
There's a status quo that we need to change. the
Absolutely.
mindset.
Absolutely. And there's so many barriers that we learn along the way.
Oh no, I was actually about to go back into talking about solving global problems. I think Lucence is always looking out at advancing their technologies. And I think I spotted out that you guys have a second flagship product called Lucence Insight.
Yes.
Maybe you could share with us a little bit more about this new product and how does it differ from the first liquid hallmark that you guys have launched?
Absolutely.
And is this now a global product?
Yes.
Is it-
Yes. So maybe I'll begin by saying when we started the company in 2017 and the first blood test, liquid hallmark, was meant to solve the problem of cancer patients, to select treatments better in a non-invasive way to help reduce the burden of and pain of tissue biopsies, which are expensive and
Yep.
inconvenient.
Yep.
Already in 2017, there was a sense of what liquid biopsy could do, which is not only to select the right drug for a cancer patient, but ultimately to be used by healthy individuals to help protect and preserve their health through early detection. Lucence Insight is therefore the result of the improvements in performance and sensitivity of liquid biopsy to detect cancers as early as possible, and the focus is to detect up to 50 cancers in one blood draw.
Yeah, that's what I read too.
Absolutely.
It's a huge jump from just 15 cancers that we could detect using the original liquid hallmark product that you guys have launched.
That's right.
So would I say it would be like a supplement to the first one that you have launched? Or
In-
it can
in-
be used individually?
Yeah. In many ways, the first liquid hallmark is focused more on cancer patients alone, to make sure that they are spared some of the difficulties and pain of tissue biopsy. But for the 50 cancer tests, it goes out to solve a much bigger problem, and that is that of early cancer detection. So 10 million cancer deaths a year, one every 2 seconds. And the reality is this: our traditional recommendations for these cancer screening, that includes mammograms, it includes colonoscopies. We know that most people find these approaches difficult to accept, right? So we do know the traditional recommendations are these, but maybe 3 in 10 Singapore women actually go for their mammograms. Maybe less than 1 in 10 Singaporean eligible will go for colonoscopy. And these are not in any way easy to go through, and a colonoscopy can take up several days of preparation. One has to avoid solid food for a while, the procedure, it's expensive, challenging. So in a world where traditional solutions are also only solving several cancer types, breast, colon, and cervix, there are so many other problems in which the best answer is really wait for symptoms and then see a doctor.
It's too late, right? When the
Yeah.
symptom appears.
It's not too late. In many situations, we believe that obviously having a symptom present is a
Yep.
good warning sign that the patient should take to go see a doctor. But in general, it's always going to be easier to deal with cancer earlier rather than
Earlier the better.
right. That's right. And I think this is true in many things in life, right? And you solve it early. So we are excited about how this is helping, thousands and thousands of patients around. And yeah, I think the awareness of this, the engagement of the various stakeholders, regulators, insurers, this is a necessary step. But we have learned all this from Liquid Hallmark. That Liquid Hallmark was something that we took the journey. We can do it again for Lucence Insight. The stakes are much higher now.
Yeah, I mean, this is great because Singapore is all about preventive healthcare. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Healthier SG and
Yeah.
Healthier
With
SG
MG60
plus.
coming
Yes.
up. Yeah.
Yes.
Actually, I'm more freaked out by the other thing that I read. Singapore is in the blue zone right now. Most people is 85.
Yes.
More and more of this burden is going to come in.
Yes. I mean, the great thing is firstly that Singapore is the first and only urban blue zone, right? It's we are very proud
you're right.
that this is a
Urban blue zone,
man-made
yes.
blue zone, right? And I think a lot of credit to the Singapore government for
Urban
structuring
planning and everything, yes.
planning. But also we recognize that as an aging population, the challenges here are going to go far beyond healthcare, right? And any technology or any approach that's going to make life easier for the aging process is really going to help position Singapore better as a zone for the elderly, right? The average Singaporean lives the last 10 years of his or her life in disability. And that's, if you think about it, right? If we have 4 million Singaporeans, that is 40 million life years of disability we're talking about.
That is heavy.
Years, yeah, absolutely. Years in which you struggle to get out of bed. Years in which you find it hard to even have dinner with your friends or your acquaintances and family, right? And that decline is something we, as far as possible, want to prevent.
I think as Dr. Tan was emphasizing the impact that cancer has on people's quality of life, I think kind of struck me that talent is one of Singapore's prized resources. And I think you have a big team under you with a suite of PhD holders under your belt. And then now that Lucence is also going global with your lab in like the US and stuff, maybe just digress a little bit away from healthcare. How do you manage your team across borders?
So this is absolutely a very important question because teams certainly require a lot of support, and particularly across borders. I will say it begins from a very clear company culture and mission. The great thing about healthcare, firstly, is that there is never any doubt what we do is a good thing and is meaningful. And so that really aligns the team. As a company that focuses on technology, we do have, of course, multiple scientists, informatics, software engineers to build the product. I did mention earlier, one of the biggest challenges is truly to change the minds of the world around us. And in order to change the minds of the world around us, it is a question of communicating this to the right audiences in the various countries. And these audiences are not single audiences. So there is a lot of need to build out that talent, nurture it, present these people with the challenges. And I will say this, all problems are novel usually, and it is all about facing and being presented the challenge that forces us to develop the skill to solve it. So I'm very proud of the team. It is about keeping everyone together to face the challenges that we see evolve every month. But that's something which I do feel that Lucence's team culture has been able to manage a lot of that growth reasonably.
How would
Very
you
well.
describe Lucence's culture to be like?
I think we are very, very technology focused, and in many ways as a healthcare company, there is never a doubt that the key values of being extremely meticulous about what we do, very quick and about solving problems is really what drives the company. The world around us has a range of problems, and our role ultimately as a company is to quickly define the problem, the gap as we think about it, and to quickly solve it.
So it's action-based, tech focus
So have
to
no
resolve
doubt.
real
Have
problems.
absolutely no doubt. Indeed, we work very fast.
And
to
across
solve
different
problems.
geographic location, your staff all share the same vision as you: get rid of cancer, increase a better quality of life.
Absolute. Yes.
It's also interesting over the last session, the word communication popped up a few times. Communicate to your staff what is a common vision, communicate to your stakeholders. This is something that, well, as a CEO, there's a lot of things on your head, you wear many hats. A good communicator seems to be deep-seated in the day-to-day that you are doing.
Yeah, I will say that the word communication is critical to both the execution internally as well as the challenge of educating the world around the solutions that we build. And that's definitely a core skill that we can all always do better. We can always do better at. And in a way, for healthcare, the stakes are just so much higher.
I know, I can feel the weight. Sorry, Caitlin. Yeah.
No. So I say we just got this final signal, so I was just going to ask, as we wrap up this session, what is one last piece of advice that you may share with our aspiring deep tech founders and spin-offs from A-Star?
Of anywhere in ecosystem.
Yeah, anywhere of any domain.
If there was one piece of advice for deep technology folks, I will say to bridge the gap quickly and essentially relentlessly, because the needs out there are huge. We do want to engage and bring to the world our solutions as quickly as possible. And in that process, there will be, of course, a lot of learning that will allow us to keep improving ourselves and our solutions.
I totally like your choice of it being relentless to bring it out to the world. That is, the urgency of it is so real.
All right. Thank you,
Hey,
Dr. Tan,
Thank you.
for your
Thank you
time.
very much
We
for,
hope you had a great session
thank you
with
for
us.
coming by.
Yeah. If you have enjoyed this podcast, please click the like and subscribe button and follow our LinkedIn for more updates. Catch you guys in the next episode.